Shanti, good morning.
Shanti, good morning, brother. Good to see
Oh,
you.
Dhanappan, yeah, good to see you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Great to
Doing as
have you.
well.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. I'm Shanti Malaban. Good morning.
I'm Shanti. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. And I think Ambika Ben's still connecting. So great to have you this morning. Today I want to go into the depth of the topic of blessings. I found the Bhog message from Shanti Bhavan particularly profound. There you are. Hello, I'm Shanti. Good to see you. So hello, good morning, Ambika Ben. Nice to see you.
Hello.
I'm Shanti. So I found the Borg message from Shanti Bhavan particularly profound. The number of times that Baba said that children are lacking the realization of the importance of this period of confluencing. And this is the time when Baba is showering down blessings. You got to catch the blessings. You got to use the blessings. You got to distribute the blessings. And so I thought we would go into the depth of that. How do we catch? How do we use? How do we share these blessings? So that's the topic I've chosen today. But before we get into that, if any of you would like to ask anything or share any of your reflections, we can start off with that.
Just some initial thoughts. Actually, was thinking of this morning. Giving blessings when everything around you is perfect, calm, is very easy. But giving blessings in challenging moments, in challenging situations, that's the challenge, so to speak. And what I'm finding is it is becoming increasingly easier to stay really stable inside whilst dealing with difficult situations. And what one finds is, if you remember, I think you covered this in an earlier session, Shiv mantra, completely being inside, especially the harder the situation, the more, what shall I say, entrenched one gets into that stability. And you don't feel that desperation where normally one would feel, you want situations to work out in a particular way or a person to behave in a particular way. That sort of expectation and desperation is no longer there with this practice. And I think that stability, that sthiti, English word for sthiti is, I forgot.
Stage.
Yes, that stage in itself bestows blessings. So it's not the outcome as much as the energies flowing at that point. And it is actually quite powerful because you may come out of that situation. The situation may not resolve, but that stability is maintained during and after. There is no afterthought or after, it doesn't leave a bad taste when formerly it used to. And there's a lot of, toing and froing of it inside. But that stability one has or one experiences, in my view, is a blessing on the self and for the person as well.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, it's a really, really good point, because you see, I suppose we're thinking of, I think what you might be talking about then is that actually there might be different types of blessings as well. And a lot of the blessings we might think about are things which are very proactive. Yeah, you're giving a blessing to someone. you're taking a blessing from someone. But I think you're right that there is such a thing as being a blessing. And I think that's a very, very good point, because there's the morally on the Mahadani, which I've mentioned to you all before, and I think we covered it way back, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, in these chit chats, where Baba talks about the Mahadani as being the soul who can give simultaneously through their mind, words, and actions. And he says powers have to be distributed through the mind, which is, I think, what you're just describing. But then he says, well, knowledge through words, we get that. But in that morally, he used this term, which I've not heard him, don't think I've heard him use in another context, which is giving virtues in actions is Prabhu Prasad. It's the holy food. It's an offering from God. So I think what you're describing is, in those situations, you're showing that virtue of peace, that virtue of contentment, that virtue, even like non-confrontation, I suppose, is a virtue. And we know that particularly when someone is stressed and aggravated, we see it with people in our everyday lives, don't we? Some people, they just show their virtues in certain situations. So Baba was particularly describing that as a donation, as actually this is God's offering, the virtues that you are sharing. So I think that's really nicely put. Thanks for that. Would anyone else like to come in?
Shanti. Amrika and I, we both have a relative who left his body. I know today's a funeral. Both Amrika and I, we know to send the blessings to let his soul go. It's my brother-in-law, our brother-in-law, older sister's husband. Now he has lived a life that was very negative, and there are so many negative feelings about him. We know as Brahmin souls, it doesn't affect us. We know to send his soul off. We know what we need to do. What that soul did is in that person's his karma. What we do is our karma, but there are so many negative feelings around him. How do you deal with a situation like that? So many negativities going towards him while you're trying to just do what is positive. What happens to a soul like that?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I mentioned in this morning's recording how in my Lokik family as well, looking at things, why did this family not progress as much as it should? Why was it held back? And similarly, I can think of particularly 1 or 2 members of the family who have been just so negative and deliberately causing divisions, really, and deliberate jealousies. And I think, we've had these moralies this week about how the ages are just very different and the energy changes around time. And in the Iron Age, I was thinking how our families, they could be more to do with negative karmic accounts than positive ones, that they really become a basis, because as I was mentioning again this morning, this sanskar of the demons of division, fighting among themselves, is something which has defined history. It's defined the world, in fact. Most of what we have done in the Iron Age has been fighting among ourselves. And so there's these karmic accounts which come back to us. And there was a very powerful line in this week's Moralies that when you change your vision, that's when you got a faithful intellect. And I think that this is something I'm working on with the particular soul I'm thinking of. I mean, they're still around. And it's like, and we can analyze and we can know the truth about the behavior. But Baba's saying to us, what should your vision be? And it's that change in our vision where we might be very angry with that soul as well for what they've done. But that's to do with our vision. And so Baba is saying that you're going to have to conquer your vices. You can do it only as you change your vision. You cannot do it otherwise. And so the fact that there's so many of you Brahmins actually in your Lokik family gives you an opportunity to support each other in this, that you must change your vision. And what will happen, it came in the Bhog message from Thursday, if you remember the one that Sister Mohini brought back, where Baba was saying that the time is now calling the Brahmins to serve through their vision, to serve through their drishti, to serve through their faith, because people are disturbed inside, they're worried inside. How will they listen to knowledge? They're going to need to take something from your face. So if you are going to the funeral today, or whenever you're meeting online or in person with your family members, this is your job. Your job is to serve through your vision. Sister Sudesh used to always say that our relatives, they rarely come through knowledge. She used to say that we serve our relatives through our virtues and through our vibrations. And usually relatives come to Baba when some stranger has given them knowledge. They won't come when you tell them. They'll think that because you told them, they're definitely not coming. But when they meet some Didi or someone like that, they become, oh, it's wonderful. This is, oh, definitely, I will come to the center. And then they're like a different person. But you tell them, they'll never step foot in the center. So she used to say, this is how we have to serve our relatives. And I think that this is like, I've shared with you before also how when I look at myself and I've got this aim that I'm going to leave this body completely clear of all past burdens. It must be done. And I've taken inspiration from a Bhog message that Baba gave after Sister Rosie left the body, and she was the Didi of Bangalore. And I remember it so distinctly, partly because it was an English word that Baba used. And he said, the daughter has come to Baba empty of all the past. And it stayed with me that even if I achieve nothing else, leave the status, leave all of those things to one side. I don't want to be carrying a burden. And when I look through my third eye, I can see like this dark energy that connects me back to the start of the Copper Age. And it's like in Christianity, they always show the devil with a tail. And they would associate the devil with a lizard, those types of creatures. And sometimes they call the devil the beast. And this is when I look through my third eye, I see this tail, and Baba calls us monkeys as well, the army of monkeys. This is what human beings are like. And I see how, the end of a tail is narrower and then it widens. So like the dark energy is narrower at the start of the Copper Age, and then it's got wider as time has gone on. And I'm still connected with my past in some way. So Baba's been talking to us last week about this, about how your past will then drive and your present. So different vices will also be driven by this burden of the past. And with souls who are not Brahmins, I feel we have to have the yoga for that. So this is, I think, what Baba is saying to us, that children, you got to get on with it for yourself. You got to clear your burden. Look, Brahma Baba did it, right? Mama did it. So then Brahma Baba is very helpful for the rest of us for so many decades. The daddies, they sorted themselves. They're helpful to us. And Baba says he takes those angels around at Amrit Vela to help all the Brahmins. Now, this is what he's asking for. He's saying, look, clear, sort yourself. And then all the yoga you have can be for others. Otherwise, you're still busy dealing with yourself, and others are not receiving what they should be receiving. So I think that's how it works. We've got to have the yoga for these souls. They're disturbed, they're burdened, they're impure. They don't have that connection with Shiv Baba. They are just looking for someone to bless them, someone to do it for them. This is the attitude of a devotee, that the idol, the deity, should do it for them. And Baba's saying they're calling out to you, but you're not ready. And so what's happening is they're just still burdened. They're wondering why it's not working. And that's because you have not cleared your own path. So I think that that is what you've got to do.
Thank you very much. It shows a different light. Personally, I have absolutely no ill feelings or no animosity towards anyone whatsoever. It's just that you're in an atmosphere where there is that tension, but dealing with it the way you put it, it's really enlightening. Just you're there and nothing happens beyond its time or against its time. Everything that is happening according to the drama, and there is a reason for everything happening. And maybe our reason for being there is just to spread that vibration, to have that peace around. So thank you for that.
I think so. And also, you see, Baba looks at every soul in their unlimited journey, and this could be a soul who has done a lot of bhakti, you see. So I feel that a lot of our relatives are actually very old devotees. And what happens at confluence age, they get the fruit of their devotion. They might not have a direct connection with Shiv Baba, but they get the opportunity to come into relationship with the Brahmin souls as they're about to become Brahmins again. And so what happens is the Brahmin souls are always going to share Baba's vibrations, Baba's virtues. It could even be practical, sharing Baba's toli. We do that with our relatives. Now that is a great fortune. So those souls must have done something, even if indirectly. So when I had a couple of uncles, one of them's living with me now and another one who left the body. And when I was just a teenager, I passed my driving test, I got my license. And they had the thought to buy me a car. And I wasn't sure whether this would create a karmic account. What do we do? So I asked Sister Jayanti what she thought. And she said to me that I should definitely accept it, because the first thing that Daddy wanted us young brothers to do was to pass our driving test when we were 17 years old, so that we could help in service. And I tell you, I used to do so many miles, so much driving back in the day. And so she said, yes, you're going to use it for service. So she said, these things happen in drama so that these souls can create their fortune. So then I just accepted it. And I tell you, it did thousands of miles in that car. And then it was that soul who left the body in COVID. And you might all remember that Baba sent a message saying that Ranjan Ben's yoga at that time meant that in that atmosphere of fear, you'll all remember April 2020, no one knew what was going on. So everyone is in this atmosphere of fear, thousands are dying. And Baba said that soul left their body without any fear. It left it easily. But this was that soul who gave that car 20 years ago. And you see the accumulation of blessings. The house that we have used for Baba's Gita Pathshala, many classes, Brahmins, that was actually given to me by another one of Rajaben's brothers. So we've always just made sure that we are using on behalf of them. So I feel like I'm a trustee for these souls' fortune. And so my duty is to carry on just using it, and Baba will just carry on giving them and whatever they got whatever they need. So whatever other state, like a lot of these souls, they just were never going to come to Baba. They don't have that positivity. They don't have that mindset. I mean, even the souls I'm mentioning, I'm not sure they even did any bhakti in this life. You know, they're just not really that connected with God. But we don't know their journey, you see. So these could be very, very elevated devotees in past births. And now, at their time of need, when they're in their degraded state, it's time for Baba to help. And so he does it through you. So I think it's completely reasonable that you would be fearing for that soul. So if that soul has gone in a negative and burdened state, I would say your job, just like Ranjan Ben made it easier for her brother, I would say this is your job now, that you clear the light. So in Hinduism, they light the candle for 13 days. And Ranjan Ben shares with me that when she was a child, there was like all the girls within the extended family would be on a rota, all the women really and girls. So they all had to sit and make sure that that candle didn't go out for full 13 days, like 24 hours a day. This was a rota. And it's a symbolism of the Brahmins giving light and might to the departed soul now. So the idea is that if that lamp went out, then the soul, they're traveling to their next birth during those 13 days. And that light is the light of their path in the darkness. So you must now think in that way, that that soul is moving on to their next journey, and your job is to light their path, because the soul goes into the jail of the wound, is quite confused. And particularly if they're already, maybe they're still resentful, you know, they're carrying these negative feelings, and then they're completely confused. Where am I? What's going on? Maybe the fear of death, you know, they're left with all these feelings. But I learned from that Borg message that you can just ease the way for that. So they can just easily let go and move on. And really, you want in your heart, you really want that soul to have a brand new, fresh start. Why should they be the same again? Why don't they learn now and receive those blessings and thoughts from you that actually, let me make a change now. Let me have a new start and do things differently. So I think you can serve that soul a lot.
That's very, very nice. And it's really a great message this morning. And I think for a lot of us, not just me alone, it's the world that message is good for. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for me as well, because as I say, you know, our families are a mixture of good fortune and bad fortune. You know, we're clearing as well as we're gaining. And it's becomes more intensified because of the attachments of the family. They're like magnifying glass is attachment. So the same thing that wouldn't affect us if a stranger does it affects us more through the family. And we develop these historical subconscious layers. And I feel also by assisting these souls, we're clearing ourselves out as well. More and more over this last probably 2 or 3 years, I've become more clear in my mind about the service of the in-between soul. And it's in one of the compilations of Bab-Dada's drills that comes on YouTube, where Baba says in one of those drills that you've got to serve the wandering soul. And so that really touched me at that one point during this pandemic, because so many were dying altogether. And the question that arises is the new body ready? You know, like, is there when things happen so quickly, it might not be ready. And then souls have died in such confusion, such suddenness. And these are our brother souls. And often we serve thinking about embodied souls, people. But like, for example, there might be 8 billion people in the world now, but maybe there are 500 million souls in between, you know, or 1 billion in between that are either in the womb or they're transitioning. Like souls are leaving the body every second, right? So there's a transition going on, and Shiv Baba can see all of this in a machinery going on, and we just see people. But through our third eye, we now have to, I think about the in-between stages. So that's something, so these types of souls, I try and remember every day in evening yoga, the in-between soul, because I think we're more likely to be frightened then than any other time. And because we got knowledge, we don't have to worry about Brahmin souls. Brahmin souls know what's to come, and we're just relaxed and we're accumulating. But for everyone else, it must be very, very confusing. And many would have expected they're going up to God, they're going into liberation, they're going to heaven, they're all the things that devotees expect. And we know that doesn't happen. So it's even more confusing for them. So at this time, we've got to be the torch. We've got to be the light in dark places. And that light, the light, when all other lights have extinguished, because that I think is what death is. We move into a space where light is extinguished. And at that time, the light that helps our path is a very precious light. For example, if you imagine it's a very, very dark night and you're somewhere in the countryside away from city light, and at that point, the stars suddenly become very important. Starlight, maybe the moon is not shining that night. So if you think how over the centuries, how stars were used to navigate. So Baba says the Brahmin souls are the stars of this world, the lucky stars. And there are some traditions, they worship starlight. So the sunlight is different, moonlight is different, and starlight is different. The moon is connected with the climate. So the tides, the oceans, they move according to the moon. And that then also determines our climate. So the moon is connected with weather. The sun is connected with growth. I mean, we don't have any growth without the sun. But the stars are connected with navigation. So Baba is saying, you are the lucky stars in this constellation. People use the stars to determine their fortune. I thank my lucky stars. This is what they say. I'm going to go and look in the newspaper to see what my stars say. This is what they do. So Baba is saying, who are these stars? Who are these stars? It's you. It's not like the stars in the sky. It's just, that's material things, that's elements. They're talking about you. You are the stars of knowledge. So I think when a soul leaves the body, that's their darkest night. And they look to the stars to navigate them. And so you have to now shine that light for that soul, departed soul, ease their way, and just let them move peacefully, comfortably into their next chapter.
So beautiful how you put it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ambika Ben, would you like to come in?
Yeah, I have been contemplating a bit on is Judy Ben's husband. So, in conversation with her, and his soul would have been aware of Baba's knowledge, and in leaving. my thing is that I am not really worried about that soul. That soul will find its way with help as well. My little concern, as Leonard is saying, is that for those who have been left behind and would have had disappointments or little negative sanskars concerning the soul, my thinking is that they are the ones who need the help. And because some of them do not have Baba's knowledge, they are aware of the Brahma Kumaris, but they do not have Baba's knowledge because they do not subscribe to the Brahma Kumaris. And because of that, forgiveness for me and understanding the deep philosophy of karma may not resonate with these souls. And as I was in conversation with Leonard yesterday, I was saying, until I am able to understand this deep philosophy of karma, that whatever I have gone through in this life, no one is to blame. It is a karma that is involved, and I have to be able to understand. Until I understand that whatever is happening, Baba says it's all the time, but how does a non-Brahmin soul understand that whatever is happening where karmas are concerned is helping me and it is good? And to have forgiveness and understanding each part, each person plays their part, whether we play it good or bad, it's their account to deal with. So that the soul leaving left very easily. Might have been a heart attack because she would have found him in the morning, but a soul like that didn't linger, but went easily. And where the vibrations of the family is concerned, may still continue to be, some of them be negative, contemplating whatever the soul would have played in their personal life. But for me, it is, you can't control anyone. You can't control how people think. But as you rightly saying, is that we can influence. And in my case, for now, is being able to serve the living souls, serve them with Baba's love and Baba's, so that they also can have some type of letting go of whatever feelings they have, because whatever feelings they have will also go with that soul and maybe hamper the path. But at the end of the day, it is a recognition that I have to fix me. I have to understand the deep philosophy of karma. Brahmins, we do, some of it at us at different levels. And having this pure love that Baba is telling us for each soul. And whatever we do in this life, what we are aware of, is all on the basis of karmic accounts, all on the basis. And whatever vices that we have, the vice of this particular soul, I believe, was a lot of ego was involved. And so that soul journey is not so much of my concern, in the sense that too much feelings of what I need to do. I'll do what I have to do. But my concern is that, how do lokic souls, lokic family let go, and start having forgiveness? How do we serve those souls in making them not become Brahmins, but to be able to bring them on that level of realization that, okay, karmas are concerned, because they come from a Hindu background, understand karmas. But when it comes to me, what do I carry with me? What do I continue? Because it's not over a couple of years. This has happened for years, that they carry with them this feeling of resentment, these strong karmic, negative karmas that they would have had with the soul. And no soul is bad, because even this soul had good qualities. It was a very good support to our sister. on a certain level of us were being there. But it is just some of their own actions would have caused those reactions from the immediate family. So that's my take on it. I have absolutely no resentment, no negative feelings towards this soul, because my understanding is that each person plays their part. Whatever we feel is also our own creation, and whatever negativity that has happened is a basis on the karma's concern. It's a karmic account. So my thought is really to support mostly my sister at this time, and to be able to give to those souls, my brothers in particular, a level of peace, and their realization will come when they have to. I can't make that realization for them, but to lessen the feelings, and I think really it's only Baba's light, and the way I do it, I don't really ask Baba. One of the things for me in the beginning of Baba's Gyan when I came is that Baba said, we're not beggars. We know not beggars. We are these powerful souls. So I try not to ask Baba, but what I do is that I will tell Baba, just, what the soul need. You know what these souls need. And I leave it at that, but it is sad when we who are left behind do not understand what we are doing to ourselves. Om Shanti.
Yeah, I think that's nicely put. And there was a lot of depth in the Borg message from Shantivan too about truth and divinity. And Ranjan Ben was thinking that we might take up that topic today, but I wanted another week to share on it and think about it further and experience it further. And one line that Baba was saying was that truth is a very incognito quality. And so what we have in the Iron Age is truth is a very cognito thing, where why we will feel resentment is according to what we think is the truth. This person has not lived up to that. And we will then get angry. Truth and anger are very, very closely connected. So the truth that we talk about is very much a truth which is connected with a judgment. And here, Baba is connecting truth and divinity. And so Baba is saying that for you, your truth is going to be your forgiveness, your tolerance, your ability to merge. So it's a very different type of truth. It's a truth to my original self, rather than a truth which is a judgment of others. And it's within that souls experience something in our eyes, I think. So I very much feel that your service of your relatives, and I'm reminding myself as I'm saying this to you as well, is the signal they get in our eyes. I think this is the message that Baba is giving. It's not what we say, and it's not going to be through knowledge. But if they see that we really have forgiven, and there's a subtle signal in our eyes that they're getting, that this really is something that we've moved on, we've merged, we've forgiven, or they see us looking at the virtues of another soul, and it's in our eyes, they will get that signal that this is something. So there's part of their mind which will bow to that. And I think that that is the subtle service to be done here, not through words or rationality, because that just doesn't work. But I think it's going to be the eyes and the face. Thanks for that. Sister Judy's lucky husband left the body. So I'm just talking about ways of serving, especially when people are maybe in a negative state and that. So I was just saying that we also have all sorts of things and we're teaching ourselves, but Baba, didn't he say about the eyes and the face? Do you want to say that?
Well, all we can do is we all can send lots of love and Baba's good wishes and Baba's vibrations with the soul, and he will feel it. And of course, he had so much, company of you Brahmins as a Brahmin, and you've always been with Baba with cooking or doing things. So he has that fortune with him. And we can send, Baba, he probably will have gone with afterwards realizing, and surely he would have felt it. So he probably will be positive. And Baba will look after him. Because Baba is unconditional, and as far as Baba is concerned, the entire world, everybody is Baba's children. So Baba will be there with him.
Yeah, so a soul who's going with Brahmins, good wishes,
Yeah.
yoga, and that's a fortunate soul. I was saying it's probably a lot of these relatives, I think, are old devotees. And,
Yeah.
yeah, they're getting their fruit from Baba now, indirectly through the Brahmin.
Yes.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come in with anything?
Brother, on Thursday's Murli, the Sakar Murli, Baba was talking about angels. And he said that to become angel, you get the fortune of the kingdom for golden age. But now is the time, if you're not becoming an angel, you become a subject. What do you think about that? Because, we were discussing it at the center, and you were saying, Dennis was saying, all of us were supposed to become angel to go to golden age. And the thought on it is what the effort that we make to become angels. So that he was saying that not all of us, Baba was saying not all of us may become angels, and if we don't, we become subjects.
Yes, it was linked to the story of the Pari Mansarovar. So it's linked to this Mansarovar. So the word is actually fairy. They don't have angels in Hinduism, really. So it's the story of the fairies who could travel to heaven up above. So it was actually that only those who become fairies can have the fortune of the kingdom, not angels. Do you want to tell us? You heard Sudesh tell the story of Adambu the other day, right? Do you want to? You tell. No, you said.
Well, Baba, says that when we meet, our meeting is with the Indraprasth. And in Hindu mythology, they think Indra is a deity of rain who gives us this rain which we get. But Baba says, no, that is the natural. But this is about Gyan. Gyan is Baba is showering rain on us to make us clean and to purify us. And so, but they think it's this deity Indra who sends rain. And so he has a court with the angels up there, up above, and it's a very pure place, which is Madhuban. Baba often mentions in some Avyak Mulis that this is the court of Indra, means Baba is the one who showers rain of knowledge on us. And so it should be only purity, but it's about most teachers. So you see, some teachers get soft, and then someone who is not observing Maryadas and things. So Baba says that the burden on teachers come if they don't report or ask daddies or seniors and just bring because they have attachment and they want to bring the person who is not pakka or accurate in their Maryadas and purity. They shouldn't be allowed because, that's not right. Baba's principles is purity and understanding. As we know, there is rules before you go to Madhuban or any centers. Make them pakka, make them understand, and make sure they follow that. And especially for teachers, this is a big responsibility. And so some teachers used to take, wouldn't report, and just because they like the person, they would take them with them into Madhuban especially. And so this is why people could say if there's not those pure vibrations from their thoughts. And so this is a story in scriptures that one such a pari, that in the court of Indra, the fairies used to dance, and it was all purity, pure. But one day she brought this her relative or whoever he shared attachment, and so
in order to go up, so heaven is shown above, where Indra rules, and in order to go up above, you have to be a very light being. So only the fairies could travel between the worlds, and so you couldn't go up above with a human body. It would be too heavy. This is the background.
And so you can smell, and so the Adam Bhu means Adam means the person.
So she transformed that person.
Yeah. No, she
transformed
in a house flat.
Yes, so she used her magical power to turn because she'd got attached to a human being, and that human being wanted to go and see heaven, to go and see the court of Indra. So she turned him through her magic into a housefly, so that he was light enough to fly up above.
Yeah. And so, but of course, everybody started to have a smell of Adam means a person, physical body smell. Bhu means smell, very bad smell. And so everybody was looking to see, and then they realized that this person has, been lying and committed that crime, so to speak. And so she was sent back with him in this earth. That sort of she herself brought that curse on herself, that she will fall down and go into, and you can't stay up above in a pure place. And so that was the burden fell on her. And so, and then she had to make so much effort and repentance, and then they went. These are the stories, but Baba mainly points out to teachers that you have a big responsibility on you. You have to make sure you can't afford to have this attachment or favoritism.
So on Thursday, Baba was linking this with the Mansarovar mythology. And this is that lake in Tibet, where the legend is you can become a fairy if you dip into the lake, and you can go up. So Baba explains that, of course, water is usually a symbol of knowledge. And he was saying that unless you become this light, you become fairy. So he said you've got to have such remembrance that you clear all of your past sins. And then you can become a fairy, so you become light enough. And then you become worthy of the kingdom. So here's in that context, he was talking about that if you're not as light as a fairy, you'll become a subject. So where a soul has not had enough yoga and they are left with a burden when they leave the body, then they have to clear it in the land of Taramraj. And this is why they become a subject. But what Baba is saying is that get on with it. You got an opportunity. And as I was saying earlier, I've got this aim that I want to leave this body empty of all of the past. So that will then make me a fairy. It's the past burden that keeps me as a human being. And so this is why in some Muralis, Baba uses this word smell to describe vibrations. So immediately when you go to the subtle region, then any human vibration is like amplified. And so in front of Babdada, Shiv Baba is so pure. So his point is that if you're coming with your mixed vibrations to Mother Baba, why do you think you could hide it from Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba? Because it's so amplified when you're so pure that even the details matter. And so your past mixtures, your alloys, they get shown up in the subtle region. So if you travel up with that, then it just won't cut it. You're going to have to clear it here. And then you clear it, you're not having to clear it up. So Baba always says that if you get punished in the land of Paramount, your status will be reduced. And this is the point he's making, that you've left it to him to do for you, instead of you getting on with it. So this is a sign that you don't really repent your past. So for Brahmins, repentance means remembrance. We don't feel guilty. We don't have that type of regret. Baba expects us to clear our accounts. So he says repentance means remembrance. And so this is, that was my understanding of Thursday's point.
And as for angels, we all are angels. Baba says, Baba has a museum and he always decorates us, and we make ourselves number wise according to our efforts, our love for Baba, our love for everything, and following everything. And this is what Baba says. Baba sees everyone as my children, as prince and princesses, pure diamonds. And so, and there's one 1969 Murli, delay is danger, because our degree of this confluence age is to be angels, because this is why Baba gave us to practice these 5 forms, of original form, our deity form, then our worship-worthy form, and then Brahmin and angel, because we are moving whole cycle. And then now we can't fly to Baba without being angels. That's why Baba says the degree of Sangam Yuga, after we study in a university school, we get a degree, our graduation, isn't it? And then our degree is, we all have to achieve this angelic. We read the Murli Karmatit angel last week. So we all have to, but it's just we make our own numbers. Even in school, some study very hard, very proper, some don't. And accordingly, they get their degrees or their, education, skills. And this is why they pass accordingly. Their grades, they get their grades accordingly. This is what Baba, so here also it's a school, it's a college, it's a hospital, it's Baba's big university. So Baba gives choice to everyone.
So I think a good point to move into the morally and okay. Yeah, so the question in the chat, what's the difference between the angelic stage and the fairy? Well, I just think that the fairies are like more to do with now. Like the fairies could travel between the 2 worlds, and we've got to develop that sort of lightness. We've got to become double light. I see the angelic stage as like the result, the ultimate, like Ranjan Ben saying that you passed your degree. And we were talking about invocation last week, weren't we? And so Baba's emerged all of the Brahmin's angelic form in the subtle region, and he's invoking us towards that perfection. But we're not there yet. We have to develop this lightness and learn to become double light. So I think that's really the fairy. But you know, it's just that in Hinduism they don't really have angels. So it's more to do with just this terminology of the traditions. It's the Abrahamic traditions that have the angels. So it's more to do with that. I just find Hinduism, just the depictions of heaven, is all much more body conscious. You read like the Quran, it's much more angelic. Like everything is much more angelic, and even Adam is much more angelic, and they have that because it's a newer religion. So they've kept a little bit more truth about what these things are. The older religions, they just get changed so much, they lose a lot of these contexts. So I think in Hinduism, they've lost some of this subtlety, and everything has become much more physical. Even all the gods are much more physical. So I think that's to do with that. But this is not a religion of Hinduism, you see. So this Mansarovar, there's peoples of that area of Tibet, Afghanistan. They're not Hindus, they're not Muslims. They believe in these fairies. Other religions have then made that lake a pilgrimage place. So the Hindu yogis who particularly worship Shiva Shankar, so they will like go and live in the mountains like they think Shiva Shankar does. They sort of dress without many clothes, or even they walk around naked. They will do their tapasya, they'll do their yoga, their hatha yoga, and then after a process of that, they'll then go for a dip into this lake to complete their shamanic powers. So they gain some occult power through this dipping. But it's a particular faith group. They tell the story of these fairies. And so I think Baba is just referring, because Brahma Baba visited all these pilgrimage places, and he lived in northern India, not too far from these places. So these stories get embedded within the culture. So the Hindus he was talking to, they wouldn't have known what an angel was. So in the 1950s and 60s, but they might have heard the story of the fairies. But if you look after Baba's knowledge spread to different countries, and we got Brahmins from different traditions, he's then that the Avyakt Muralis talk less about Hinduism, and they're more addressing concepts that people of all backgrounds could. So Baba's always adapting his examples according to the audiences he had at that time. So I wouldn't get too lost in the fairy and the angel. Baba doesn't use the word fairies as we've moved on in the Muralis, because the audiences are now, like the Indians also know what angels are. But at that time, he was addressing certain people who had less education. They might have heard these stories of Bhakti. So then he uses these examples.
And also Baba was a jeweler, and a lot of English people used to go there, and it was under British as well. And so Baba used to make, and then of course they traveled to England, and we had those boxes, musical boxes, jewelry boxes, or box, ladies, especially with a ballerina on it, like a one foot and dancing and those sort of things. And they might have reached, and they were fascinating, in those days, in the 60s. And so what Baba says, that look like ballerina, has one toe, they are very light, they have one toe. So you don't get attached to this world. You just have your one toe here because we are still here, and you just respect and custom systems of everybody, because you are living in this world, you are, everything. So don't get attached, but have one foot like that, but stay very light, like a ballerina. So it is a process, isn't it? And then we become detached and we understand knowledge more, and we make our own effort to become follow Brahma Baba and become angel. Baba always says, just follow Brahma Baba and become complete and perfect and become an angel. Without being angel, you can't go achieve your further, degrees and go to a further status. So.
Yeah, thanks for that question. So one of the questions that came into my mind hearing the Borg messages, and particularly the one from Om Shanti Baba, was how do we make the most of this time? That message was so clear during that Borg message that children are lacking the realization, lacking the understanding of the importance of this period of confluence age. So not just the importance of confluence age, but Baba was explaining that each age has different seasons. And we're going through a season of extra blessings. In fact, if you recall, Baba said it in the Borg message when Daddy Janki left the body. He said that he's giving extra blessings, extra help at this time. So he was re-emphasizing. And one phrase that comes in the Morally is this board of too late, that you've all come before the board of too late has been put up. And different Brahmins interpret that in different ways. I've always interpreted it as the reduction in Baba's help, rather than a Brahmin not being able to be a Brahmin, or a soul not being able to become a Brahmin. But for how long will Baba continue to give multi-million or multi-billions? Now, I'm not sure how exact this is, but just observing and hearing the Sakar Murlis that we hear from Monday to Saturday, I don't think Baba says multi-millions very often in those Murlis. I think he tends to say 100-fold benefit, you'll be 100-fold fortunate, and maybe sometimes 1,000-fold. But it's noticeable that multi-millions comes up a lot in the Avyakt Murlis. And it makes me think that was Baba giving a little bit less when Brahma Baba was here directly, because those souls were getting direct sustenance from corporeal Baba. Shiv Baba was coming every day to speak the Morali. Mama was around. So they got a different level of support, different type of support. And then as that support was not there in the corporeal form, it seems to me that this language of multi-million fold began to come in the Muralis. And so maybe Baba's made a switch, okay? You're not getting that type of support of having Brahma Baba down there, having Mama down there, having Shiv Baba come every day to speak the Murali. So let me give you something else. Let me give you bonus help. You get multi-million fold. And then over the last 20 years, I've also heard, maybe 15 years, I've heard Baba say a couple of times, multi-billion fold in the Murali. And it makes me think that there are seasons here. There are periods where Baba is giving more because he's giving extra help. If you come later, you need extra help to get going, to get moving. And I don't think Baba could have been more direct than he was on Thursday. And he's saying, look, are you realizing what you got at the moment? Are you making the most of it? This is the time to become full. And I wonder whether in the next number of years it will get rolled back. And it goes back from multi-billions to multi-millions, to hundreds of thousands, to thousands. And ultimately, does it become back to one-to-one? Because this is the bonus of confluence age, that it's not one-to-one. When you do one, you get so much more than you would get in any other life. And that was my take from this Bull message, that look, how long are you going to have this opportunity? Make the most of it, fill yourself, take the blessings, use the blessings, share the blessings. So that got me thinking, well, how do we do that? How do we make the most of it? So I've chosen a Murali, the 24th of February, 1988. 24th of February, 1988. I'm going to hand over to Ranjan Ben to read it to us.
Om Shanti, good morning to all. This is Avyakt Baptada, and the date is 24th February 1988. 24/02/1988. Today, Bap Dada is seeing his children who are the spiritual Chatrak birds. Baba explains, each child has become like a Chatrak bird and is anxious to listen, to meet, and is anxious to become equal to Baba. So this is the name of the bird. Chatrak bird only catches the dew, after a long summer where heat awaits for the dew to fall and catches it first. He's so anxious, so Baba gave us the title, we children who are the spiritual Chatrak birds. Each child has become like a Chatrak bird and is anxious to listen, to meet, and is anxious to become equal to Baba. By listening, the thirst of innumerable birds is quenched. So we did so much devotion, and so we were still thirsty, and so Baba comes and quenches our thirst. The nectar of knowledge satisfies thirsty souls, and as they listen, souls become the embodiment of knowledge equal to Baba. Or should you say that as they listen to the flute of knowledge, they become the children who themselves play the flute. As they celebrate the spiritual meeting, they become merged in Baba's love. As they celebrate the meeting, they become the ones who have the stage of being merged in love and lost in love. As they celebrate a meeting, they remain merged in the experience of one Baba and none other. While celebrating a meeting, they become free from obstacles and become beloved children by being colored by Baba's company. When souls remain so merged and lost in love, what is the hope that remains? that of becoming equal to Baba. Those who place every step over Baba's step are those who are to become equal to Baba. Just as Baba is constantly the embodiment of all authority, in the same way, the children become the ones who are constantly master almighty authority. Baba's form is constantly powerful, constantly light. They also become equal in this way. You know the special aspects in which you must become equal. In which aspects should you become equal to Baba? No, Baba is asking the question. That in which, first Baba said that you know the special aspects in which you must become equal. Then Bap Dada is asking, in which aspects should you become equal to Baba? You know them, don't you? You have become already, and you are becoming as well. As is Baba's name, so is the children's name. That of being, did you get the answer? World benefactor. This is your name as well, isn't it? As is Baba's form, so is the children's form. That is, Baba is also a tiny point, a soul, but a supreme soul.
Baba is the world benefactor, and so are you.
Oh, yeah. As are Baba's virtues, so are the children's virtues. Those who imbibe every virtue of Baba are the ones who become equal. As is Baba's task, so is the children's task. Become like Baba in every aspect. This is everyone's aim, isn't it? You are not those who remain face to face, but those who are to become equal. This is known as those who follow the Father. So check yourself. To what extent have I become like Baba in every aspect? So Baba has given us homework to check ourselves, assess yourself. Since the beginning, Baba has given the blessing of becoming equal to all the children. And so the blessing given at the beginning is the blessing filled with all powers. In Lokic life, a father or a guru gives blessings. May you be wealthy, may you have children, may you have long life, or the blessing, may you constantly be happy. What blessing has Baba given? May you constantly be full of wealth of all powers. These are the treasures of Brahmin life. So today Sakar Murli was like that as well. That, don't be miserly. We are full, so keep giving. So Baba is saying, Baba's blessing is, may you be full of the wealth of all powers. These are the treasures of Brahmin life. May you have a long life, that is to live until the end of the task of establishment at the confluence age from the time you have taken Brahmin birth. That means to have the blessing of a long life. So it's good to stay in this, no matter what the body is like or whatever. Baba is saying, by taking blessings and following Baba's Srimad, continue to move along, and you'll have Baba's blessing to have a long life. In between, if the soul goes towards the old sanskars or the old world, away from Brahmin life, this is also known as taking birth, but one with a short life span, because the soul has died from Brahmin life. Some are such that it is if they are in a coma, and even though they are here, they are equivalent to not being here. Means for some reason they get disheartened, they leave, and so they are cutting their lifespan and life with Baba short. This is what Baba means. And so, and sometimes they wake up, but that living is equivalent to being dead. To have a long lifespan means to live the Brahmin life, the elevated divine life of all attainments, from the beginning until the end. Together with a long lifespan, the blessing of being free from disease is also necessary. If the lifespan is long, but the sickness of Maya makes the soul weak again and again, that living is not living. Together with a long lifespan, one must constantly remain healthy, that is, free from obstacles, not to stay in bed in a state of confusion, of being hopeless. What happens when someone becomes ill? He goes to bed, doesn't he? Small confusions are finished whilst moving, but when a huge difficulty comes, the soul gets entangled in confusion and loses hope. What is the state of mind at that time? When the body is in bed, one does not have the desire to get up and walk, or the desire of eating or drinking. In the same way here, if the soul sits in yoga, the heart is not drawn. Even if he listens to knowledge, it is not with the heart. He will do service for show, out of fear, or for public opinion. This is not called a constantly healthy life. This is called the blessing of a lifespan, the blessing of being free of disease, and the blessing of having children. So, do you have children? Have you given birth to only 2 or 4 children? The blessing of receiving children is not given for 2 or 4 children, but when you are stable on the stage of being master creator like Baba, then what is the feeling at that time? All of this feels like your creation. To become such a master creator is the blessing of unlimited children, not that of the limited 2 or 4 students. I created these are mine. Not in that way. The stage of the master creator is the unlimited stage.
When Hindus go to gurus, they'll ask for these blessings. May you have a long lifespan, or even from their elders, not even gurus. May you have a long lifespan. May you remain healthy. May you have children. So Baba's saying he's blessed you, but it's talking about internal health of the mind. It's about remaining blissful throughout our Brahmin life. And that's a long lifespan. And then children means all souls, right? All souls, all of nature, all of that is the children for the ancestor soul. And so Baba is saying that these are the blessings that you're getting on a very unlimited level.
And Baba gave us the method that keep on churning Murli points. Baba gave example of a cow who doesn't chew the cud. That means she is not well. So even last Murli on the Sundays, the Sunday Murli Baba gave us that to keep the mind healthy, keep on churning, to be free from wasteful thoughts. Do this, keep the mind occupied. You can do many service through your mind. And here Baba means creation means our thoughts. We create lot of thoughts. And what happens when you have too many children? You know, it's becomes overwhelming at times, confusion and things. So don't have too many wasteful thoughts, but create positive, pure thoughts and joy and create students. Baba means here is spiritual and unlimited creation. Baba is talking about. So this is what Baba said, that note that I created these are my students. Baba says, not in that way. The stage of the master creator is the unlimited stage. Have the consciousness of each soul and the elements of nature as your creation, and have good wishes and pure feelings of benefit for each one in the stage of being world benefactors. This is the feeling that a creator has for his creation. So, when you become the masters of the unlimited, then no limited attraction can attract towards itself. Where will you constantly see yourself standing? The seed, the creator of the tree, always come up above when it is the final stage of the tree. In the same way, the unlimited master creator will experience himself to be standing on the top of the kalpa tree. Together with Baba, the soul will become the master seed on the tree and spread the rays of powers, virtues, good wishes, pure feelings, love, and cooperation. So when you look at a kalpa tree, Brahma Baba is standing up there, waiting for us also, everybody. But Baba says when you practice your yoga, this is one of the methods also. You go with Baba, stay there and spread all the powers, virtues, good wishes, pure feelings, love, and cooperation. And so Baba is waiting for us to be ready. And he is in the form of a commander-in-chief. Baba has given this Murli once. The Baba is waiting for you to become. Baba hasn't, completely abandoned us. He's waiting for us to be complete and perfect and go with him like angels. So we all have to become angels. The sun automatically spreads its rays over the entire world because it is high above. In the same way, can you become master creator and master seed and give rays and water to the entire tree? So, how many children do you have? The entire world is your creation. To have the blessing of being master creator is known as receiving the blessing for many children. So this is Baba's spiritual language of giving the blessing of many children. How many blessings do you have? This is known as becoming equal to Baba. So as soon as each one took birth, so Baba is saying each one took birth. Baba has given all these blessings to all Brahmin souls. You have received these, haven't you? When someone receives a blessing, then together with that blessing, the method of using the blessing is also told. So I repeat this, it feels, it's simple enough, but it feels very important, I think. When someone receives a blessing, then together with that blessing, the method of using the blessing is also told. If that method is not adopted, then the soul is not able to take benefit from that blessing. So it's quite subtle, isn't it? The method, Baba gives the method, but if that method is not adopted, then the soul is not able to take benefit from that blessing. And so everyone has received blessings, but you can increase each blessing with the accurate method. So everyone has received the blessing, but you can increase each blessing with the accurate method. How can it increase? The method for this is the easiest and the most elevated. The blessing should be remembered according to the time, and by remembering it, you will become powerful and you will become the embodiment of success. The more you use it according to the time, the more the blessing will continue to increase. That is, you will constantly experience the fruit of the blessings. You have received such elevated blessings, powerful blessings, that not only can you achieve fruits by using them for yourself, but you can also make other souls worthy to claim blessings from Baba, the bestower of blessings.
Do you want to summarize? You summarize. What was Baba's name?
Yeah. So like Baba said, become the master bestower, like Baba, and be the seed and go with Baba on the tree. Baba said, and then give. So this is the method Baba taught us, that first you use this method, increase your powers and reap the fruit. But then after reaping that, stay with Baba and give the share, give to other souls, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That what Baba's been saying to us this week is fill yourself. You've got to make yourself full. And some of that is connecting with Baba, absorbing. Some of that is we hear the knowledge in the morally, we're filling ourselves with knowledge. But do you remember we had that morally on the Sunday a few weeks ago where Baba said, this knowledge is not theoretical. You got to use it. And so these blessings grow. So when we've got to use them, we get a fruit of using it. And we gain more blessings through using it. And ultimately, it must show in the form of the 8 powers. So the 8 powers are blessings from Baba, but we've got to use those 8 powers for ourselves in our, whether it's internally or with others. We've got to use the virtues that Baba's taught us for others. Then they actually themselves are like a seed and they give a fruit. So we extend our blessings further as we use them. They're like they mature as well. The blessing matures, the blessing grows, and we're able to use it in many different ways. It itself develops. And then Malaben was saying at the start, she was walking us through her own experiences of how the stage itself is a blessing. And Baba is saying that the more full you become, you're then becoming more of a master seed. And Shiv Baba doesn't actually have to do anything apart from speak the morally. Everything else is through his being, isn't it? And we receive so much through his being. So he's saying that as you develop your fullness, you also become that. And I had forgotten this explanation of the tree, that why is Brahma Baba shown at the bottom of the tree in meditation? So they have Vishnu in the middle, and Mama and Baba and the Brahmin sitting at the roots. But then Brahma is also shown at the top of the tree on his own. And Baba's explaining to us that as the soul becomes full, it becomes a seed. And a seed, in some trees, it re-emerges from the ground when the tree is about to end its life and a new tree has to begin. So Brahma Baba, Prajapita Brahma was down here, wasn't he? We've had that morally this week as well, that Prajapita Brahma is down here, but the angelic Brahma is up there. And so that Brahma also is like a seed for the new world, a master seed like Shiv Baba. And Baba saying, you will also go and stand with Brahma above the whole tree as a master creator. You are the ancestor of the whole tree. Brahma is the great-great-grandfather. And you, all of you, are the master great-great-grandfathers and great-great-grandmothers of the tree. So it's your reach. We had the morally the other week where Baba said that, are your vibrations reaching every soul? And he even said to the daddies, do you remember that this was in 1992, that their vibrations are not reaching every soul yet either. So we have to accumulate a big stock so that all souls can receive. So that's my take on it.
Mm. And Baba also says we are the army. So as commander-in-chief, even in the army, chiefs don't go away. They wait for all the soldiers. And so Baba is waiting for us to be complete. But, we are Baba's right hand, Baba's helper. Shiv Baba today said he can't do on his own. He's establishing and I said to Baba, actually, we say God can do anything in a second. He can do a magic wand and change it into a heaven. But we know that Baba is making our fortune. And so I said to Baba, hey, you are very generous. You are making our fortune, but I can see. So Baba says, you are my helpers and my right hand. And there's a beautiful model about who will become left hand and who will become right hand. And this is why in Hindu Bhakti, they always write is pure, they do everything auspicious with right hand. And we are Baba's, that's why I said Brahma has thousands of what you call arms to help him. And so that is us. And this is what Baba is saying. Let's make such a stage and be with Brahma Baba. So have this yoga, practice into your yoga when you go to Madhuban, like, when you do your remember what you call, like Baba's hut and
pilgrimage places.
yeah. And you can practice this and be with Baba in history, or there's a kalpa tree and you can be with Baba there and practice yoga and develop, and then, give everything. Anyhow.
Can we stop there, or is there, how much more is there?
There's a page and a half,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll finish it quickly now, but this was really beautiful. So there's quite a lot of mullis that came into my mind. So I thought, well, I'll read it now. We, listen with attention and concentration, and practice, and just practice being that form when Baba speaks. With the mulli, Baba is teaching us, and he is in front of us, and you are with Baba alone, and so. Baba says, this blessing of the confluence age remains with you in different forms for 21 births. So this form at the confluence age is different. And for 21 births, this blessing will continue in your life. However, now is the time to meet the bestower of blessings, and so receive blessings. So check, are you using all your blessings and moving forward? Because you have heard previously that there is a speciality of blessings. The one who has received blessings does not have to labor. When Bhagat souls get tired, they ask for blessings from Baba. When people come to you, they don't want to make effort to have yoga. And so, what is the language they speak? The Bhagat souls, I'm sure we all have experienced, some come to us and say, can you not give us blessings? We don't want to go so deep or have yoga. And so what would they speak? What is the language they speak? Just give us a blessing. Just place your hand on our head. The hand of Baba, the bestower of blessings, is constantly over you, the Brahmin children. The elevated directions are the hand. So Baba's hand is the elevated directions. Srimat is Baba's hand on our head as blessings. It will not be a physical hand that is placed. How can it be placed for 24 hours? This hand of Baba's elevated directions is constantly over the children. From the early morning hours till the time you go to sleep, the hand of elevated directions is given for every breath, every thought, and every action. Continue to move with the method of this blessing, and you will not have to labor. So Baba is making it easy for us if you constantly follow Baba's Srimat and Maryadas. Then Baba says, this is praise for deities, that they have to have no knowledge of any desires, which really is speciality of an angelic life. There is no question of any desires in a deity life. Brahmin life becomes the angelic life, that is, you achieve the karmatit stage. To perform an impure action, a useless action or a sinful action, or to perform an action in the bondage of past karma, is not called the karmatit stage. One is the relationship with karma, and the other is bondage. There may be relationship with karma, but no bondage. This is called an angel. Just as there is the praise of ignorance of desires, in the same way, in the angelic life or the Brahmin life, there is ignorance of the word difficult, ignorance of burden. You don't even know what it is. And so, a soul who has blessings means the one who has the experience of ignorance of a life of difficulty. This is called a blessed soul. So to become like Baba means to constantly be sustained with blessings received through the bestower of blessings. Always be carefree and experience victory as a certainty. Some children make good effort, but to experience effort as a burden is not accurate effort. To pay attention is the accurate method of a Brahmin. However, attention changes into tension. If there is not natural attention, then that cannot be called accurate attention. When one has physical knowledge in life, he knows that this is a good thing. This has to be done. This must not be done. And so the sign of those who are knowledgeful on the basis of knowledge is that they pay attention naturally. This can be eaten, this must not be eaten, this is to be done, not the other, to go there, not to go here, etc. They do not have tension at every step. Should I do this? Should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Shall I move this way or the other way? There is natural attention with the power of knowledge. Those who are such accurate effort makers pay natural attention at every step, because the light and might of knowledge enables you to move in an accurate way with an accurate method. So by all means, make effort. Definitely pay attention. But, Baba says, but not in the form of tension. When you come into tension, then you wish to do a great deal. You wish to become number one, but tension does not allow you to become what you wish to become. And tension creates further tension. Because what you wish to happen does not happen, tension increases. So everyone makes effort, but some make effort too heavy, and some become completely careless, saying, whatever is going to happen will happen. We will see what happens later. Who sees and listens to us anyway? So neither one is good, nor is the other good. Therefore, through balance, experience Baba's blessings. So either to get too heavy or careless, Baba says, that's not good enough. But instead, always maintain that consciousness is not good. So Baba, that's why says, therefore, through balance, experience Baba's blessings. Always maintain this consciousness that Baba's hand means Srimad and directions, elevated directions, is over my head. Bhagat souls keep physical images in front of themselves, thinking that. So Baba is now giving example of a Bhagat. They keep images in front of them, thinking that the hand of blessings is over their heads. So you can always keep the image of this experience in your consciousness and in the intellect as you move. Do you understand? You have made a lot of effort. Now be sustained with blessings and fly. You have experienced Baba as the bestower of knowledge and bestower of wisdom. So Baba is saying, you have experienced Baba as the bestower of knowledge and bestower of wisdom. Now experience him as the bestower of blessings. Acha. Now Baba is giving us blessings to those who constantly follow the Father at every step. To those who constantly experience themselves as the elevated, blessed souls who belong to the bestower of blessings. To those who cross every step easily. To those who constantly use the blessings at an appropriate time. To such elevated souls who are to become equal to Baba. Bap Dada's love and remembrances and namaste in the form of the bestower of blessings. And we say, Baba Bap Dada, the bestower of blessings, namaste, Om Shanti.
Would anyone like to come in with reflections?
Om Shanti. I think this really is a reminder to me what Baba is telling me I am. Equal to the Father is what I have to become in all the areas, becoming a bestower, and giving. That in particular today for me, I feel is important to be a world benefactor. And the image of standing with Baba at the top of the tree remind me that I am not alone doing what I have to do, that whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm bestowing, it is with Baba, it's not just me. So to be in that combined form with Baba throughout the day, giving the blessings to souls by seeing each soul as my ancestor souls. We are ancestor souls to the whole tree. And that being able to give is just being able to have such good feelings, good wishes, which in itself is blessings for each soul within this Kalpa tree. But really, for me today in particular, is staying combined with Baba and serving and in that way. Om Shanti.
Yes, I think so. It's, when seed meets seed, that's a very powerful dynamic, isn't it? But we've forgotten that we're the seeds. We became part of the expansion. And so now, going back to our essence and connecting with the seed, Shiv Baba is the only soul who just stays as a seed. All the rest of us get scattered, don't we? Right around. So now it's a case of becoming that fullness. Seed means full. And so refilling from the seed, becoming the seed again. Yeah. Anyone else like to share anything? Benjamin, want to share anything?
Well, Baba gave us lots of methods. So it's good because Baba said, explain why we get tensed up or what happens. But also, Daddy and Baba always said, you should not have in your dictionary the words like difficult, sometimes, try, because Baba rhymes it with, if you say I'll try, you will cry, because you are on your own. But so Baba is giving us lots of methods to be easy yogis, to have a carefree, not careless, but carefree life with Baba. Like you say, stay with Baba all the time. Baba said, but remember that Baba's hand of Srimati is all the time with me. So I thought that was, and did Baba, and for you, you had those questions. But this Murli, I think, answered all those. Did Baba answer for you? Or also Ambika Ben was saying about angel. Did it get clear now from Baba? You can become an angel. We all.
Yes, yes.
And Shailen Bhai had a few questions. I think all the questions of his are answered, are they?
Yeah. I think the line that we can take away here is, you've been experiencing Baba as the bestower of knowledge, the bestower of understanding. Now experience him as the bestower of blessings. And of course, the Murli is a blessing, but we have to have all relationships with Baba. And the way to look at each relationship is it's a blessing. So whether Baba is my father, my teacher, my Satguru, my friend, my companion, my beloved, my grandfather, whatever relationship, my business partner, my helper, whatever relationship, that relationship is a blessing. So to experience Baba as the bestower of blessings, each relationship gives a different feeling, it's a different blessing. You think about it in your Lokik life, you feel a different attainment from each of those relationships. And so for us to remember, you see, with the teacher, it's a study, we're making more effort really there. But these other relationships, you just feel that naturalness, that blessing that comes through that relationship. And so I think that's really Baba's message to us today, that remember the bestower of blessings is going to move you forward. And you don't need to try so hard. But this is more about your combined form, your connection, and just to enjoy that and move forward with Baba. So let's stop there for today. I think we've again had a lot of rich discussion. Thank you those of you that could attend live, and also warm regards to those of you who tune in later through the YouTube video. So have a great week, everyone. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Right.
Shanti. Bye-bye. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you.
Thank you. Om Shanti.